Good morning, dear students. In last lecture, we learned about installation of Linux OS. Then we learned about types of partitions and different file systems. Now, in this lecture, we will learn about uh, common Linux features. That was remaining point 1.4, and which are the different features are supported by the Linux. For example, multi-user, multitasking, hardware support, networking connectivity, the network servers, GUI, and application support. These are the features are provided by any of the operating system, just like Windows, Mac OS. Same features are provided by the Linux also. Just we will see that how it is providing. So one is a multi-user. Its name is indicating multiple users can use this OS. Suppose I have installed Ubuntu and we want to work with the different users, then it is possible. It doesn't mean that only multiple users logged in into a system. It means that all these users are working at the same time. Suppose we can create 10 accounts, 10 users, and all these 10 users can be worked at the same time. That is a multi-user concept. Then multitasking. In multitasking, you can run multiple tasks, that is a multiple programs on your same machine. So current your operating systems are the multitasking or the multi-programming operating system. So you can run multiple programs. Now which are the multiple programs you can run? Suppose I want to open Chrome, that is browser, that is possible. At the same time I want to play a music, that is also possible. Second one. Third one, suppose I want to open a book PDF file, that is possible. So right now three programs are running. uh, Again I want to open suppose any program for example PHP, that you can access. I want to access database Oracle and want to perform some operations. So right now we are performing 7 to 8 different kind of programs at the same time, and that is possible with the help of the Linux also, same like a window or any other OS. The next feature, it is providing a GUI, support for the GUI. In old versions or in the first version, it was not having a GUI. It was totally command oriented. But later on, they added one GUI as an X window system. This X window system, it provides a graphical user interface, so you can log in with providing username and password, and then you can access different folders, directories with the help of GUI. Later on, Genome and KDE has been introduced. So right now, Genome and KDE desktop environments are available, and with that we can interact with this Linux. So when you run Linux OS, for example Ubuntu, then you will feel that you are using a Windows, only having some different features, but everything is same. It is providing a UI. With the help of a mouse and keyboards, you can access your system. You can perform the functions with the system very easily. Next feature provide that different kind of hardwares are supported by Linux OS, such as suppose I want to attach pen drive, then it is possible. So I can add any external drive very easily with the help of Linux OS. So it will be get attached and it will be get detached very easily. In old days, when there were only a command prompt system, we have to write a command into a shell, and then only we could access that particular device. Suppose I wanted to access CD, then put that CD into CD-ROM, and then go to your command prompt shell and type their mount and that name of that CD with the part slash dev slash and name of that particular CD, and then that particular device will be get mounted to your system. That was an old procedure, but as the GUI has been introduced with the help of X Windows, Genome and KDE, so it is right now very easy that just attach your pen drive, it will automatically detect and it will show it's one of the drive, and then you can access it. This is about your hard disk, external hard disk, DVD, CD, and the pen drive. Even you can attach some video cards or any other devices also, any other hardware devices. Then about the network connectivity, you can connect Linux with the help of the LAN card, that is your Ethernet card. Currently we are using Ethernet card. Then modems. I'm assuming that you know about all these things as you have learned in computer network. Modems, do you know the modems? So modems that this is one of the device, and you can access this internet connection with the help of that modem device, and it uses your telephone line to connect to the internet. So in old days, what we were doing, that with the landline phone, it is having one of the cable that insert that port. There was one port as in a modem port. Insert that cable into that port, and then just you have to enter your landline number, and you can get an area code. Just it was taluka wise, so just enter that code and your landline number, and then it dialed that connection, and you could hear that particular dialing tone, a particular typical dialing tone of any landline. And once that dial tone successfully done, then you could get connection over that dial-up connection. This is one way. Another way that you can purchase that modem device, and through the device you can get connected to the internet. So different kind of networking devices are supported by the Linux operating system. So it supports for the TCP/IP protocol. So everything, whatever that you supported by the Windows, that all these protocols and network utilities are supported by Linux OS also. Network servers. Now, which are the different network servers that you should know? Mail server, that is your SMTP server. FTP server, file transfer protocol server, that is used for handling transferring the files. News server, then this is DSCP server for dynamic host control. Then NIS server. So different servers, if suppose you are having and you want to access these server services on your desktop Linux machine, then it is possible uh, for any Linux distribution, means for Red Hat, Ubuntu, that is a Debian, CentOS, or any other Linux distribution. Application support, just like any other networking support, network server support, different applications are supported by this Linux. Only the thing that these applications are should be supporting to this binary format, because Linux understand the code in a binary, so that should be developed in a binary format, and then it can support that particular different applications. Suppose we have to install it, and suppose we are accessing through the cloud, then no need of any binary or anything. It can be get accessed as an in the form of API, that is an application programming interface. Okay, so this is about the different features, and it's very simple part. Just any OS supporting these features, same features are supported by the Linux also. Multi-user means multiple users can run your Linux OS at the same time. Multitasking, multiple tasks you can do. Then graphical user interface, UI. GUI is supported right now in case of any Red Hat or any distribution of Linux OS. Currently we are using GUI as in a GNOME and KDE desktop environment. Then it supports for different kind of external hard disks or external devices. It also supported for network connectivity, so you can get an internet connection, or you can access the LAN machines in a LAN network. That is possible. Along with the LAN, we can add here as a wireless also. So Wi-Fi connection that you can also add with the Linux operating system. Network servers, you can access the network servers. Then different applications are also supported by Linux. So these are the features. Now let's move to the next point. This point covers what is a shell, what is a kernel, and what are the different roles and services should be provided by the kernel. This is in one of the diagram. it shows that the middle part, this middle part circle, it is hardware part, hardware containing your RAM, HDD, that is your hard disk, and the CPU, that is your processor. This hardware, it is going to interact with the kernel. Kernel, it is in the heart of your operating system. So once it interact with the kernel, then kernel will interact with the shell, and shell will interact with the users. Okay, so if suppose we are traversing through the user, then we can say that user first of all enter a command or interact with any kind of applications. So in this outer layer you can see over there applications, compiler, and some set of commands. So for the applications, we are considering application programming interface is provided, API is provided. So through the API, user get an access to the kernel. And suppose we are using directly shell command prompt, then user enter a command, for example cd command. Let's take an cd for the changing the directory. Type the cd command. Then once you type the cd command, then this shell will access this command. Now this cd command, its script is written in a bin directory. That script will be get executed. So that script is that we have to change directory to some other directory. So currently suppose we are in a home directory and I want to switch to boot directory, then cd and then write on boot, you will go directly into boot directory. So that command will be get executed, and for executing that command it will take a help from the kernel. So it has to find out where that boot directory is present, its address number, and then in this way it will get executed. Suppose such now for this command also we require the hard disk information, that address information. So we require the HDD information. So kernel will interact with the hardware, it will get the response of that address number, and then it will perform that functionality, and that result will be get passed to the shell for the displaying that information to the user. But at the back end, kernel is handling everything. So this is about the kernel, this is about the shell. Another example, suppose I want to interact that I want to execute date command. Now what is the date command? Date will display the current date and time of that particular system. So we are writing, opening the shell. Shell means your command prompt. Terminal we are calling for Linux. Open that terminal, type dep date, press enter. Then it will interact, shell will interact will date dot script file, sh file, and that will be get executed with the help of the kernel. For execution of anything we require the help from the kernel. So for execution what we required, we required processor for that. So date.sh, that file will be get executed with the help of the kernel. Kernel will interact with the hardware. Hardware means it will take that file from HDD, and it needs RAM as well as it needs a CPU. So all these three parts will be taken, and your that date.sh will be get executed. It will send the result to the kernel, and kernel will back send result to the shell. That will be displayed to the user the current date and time, today's date and time. Okay, so in this way actually your processing will be done. So kernel, that's why it is called as a heart of the system. Shell cannot directly interact with the hardware. We require some set of programs. So kernel, it is nothing but a set of operating system programs that is able to interact with the hardware. Now what is a shell? Shell, it is a special user program. So you can consider it as a command prompt in case of window, and here we are calling it the terminal. So on that terminal we can write a command, and we can execute that command, and its output will be displayed on that same terminal. So that is about the shell. Now which shell is supported, or current shell? Current shell, it is a bash shell. Bash stands for born again shell. Okay, so the first shell was developed by Unix. It was Bourne shell. Currently Linux, it is using born again shell. It's an advanced version. Now what is a kernel? Now I'm assuming that you got this point of shell. Okay, in the next coming lecture we will see about the kernel. So we will stop here.